Good morning, y'all. I hope you're having a great Friday. It's such an incredible day. It's going to be amazing. The weather's beautiful. Take full advantage of it. I just wanted to come on here because I had listened to a really great video done by my friend Bethany, and she had a really good message, and I wanted to share it because it's something that, like, those of us that are seasoned, that are in Young Living, kind of already know this, but it's a good reminder. And then those of you that are newer and you're starting to share, or maybe you're thinking about sharing, this will help you. And I've got so much energy and I've got a fire lit under me right now. And I just want to give you that excitement that I have so that hopefully I light a fire under you today and you can share more goodness to people around you all weekend long. So there's this thing called desperation versus urgency. So what are the two things? So if you're hosting classes and you're sharing Young Living and you're doing this because in the back of your mind or the forefront of your mind, you're thinking, I have to do this because I want to sell more product, you're probably not going to sell more product. We really need to change our mind shift of how we come into this and why we're doing it, right? What is the intention behind what we're doing? This is something my good friend Debbie always talks about, and it's such a good thing to think about in everything you do. When you post on social media, when you invite somebody to a class, when you're trying to introduce Young Living to somebody, to a family or a friend that you know will genuinely help them, when you're, just literally doing anything in your life, what is the intention behind what you're doing? And if it's a good intention and you're doing it not for you, but you're doing it for them, that's creating the sense of urgency. When you come across and you're trying to invite people because you're trying to do it for you and you're trying to get something out of it, that comes across as desperate, and that is a sense of desperation. So do you get where I'm saying about the two? So when you come into this and you start to share with people around you, strangers, friends, family, old acquaintances, old co-workers, anybody that you want to introduce Young Living, the lifestyle to, do this because you genuinely care about them. What can it do for them? Everything will always work out, and I've tried this different ways. So when I first got into Young Living, I did this out of desperation. I did this because I loved the product, but I really, really needed the money. And that probably came across in a lot of things. So then slowly I started changing my mindset and saying, I need to do this to help more people. It has genuinely helped my family. It has changed our lives. Those little bottles of oils, I cannot even imagine going one day without them. Yesterday we had family photo shoot day, and it was great. And thank goodness for Peace and Calming, because my kids were wired. That oil calmed them all down, and it was my lifesaver. It was my saving grace. On the days where my stomach's not feeling so good, or I'm just not feeling my best, I can throw on Thieves, or I can throw on Aroma Ease, or I can throw on peppermint or lemon, and right away I feel better. On the days where I'm feeling a little sad, maybe not feeling myself, I put on my frankincense or my sacred frankincense. I put on my energy. I put on joy. I put on all these amazing oils, Valor, that just make me feel so good and so happy inside. And I am just so grateful every single day. And I think I have to tell everybody about this because it helps me and I want to help them. And when you have something that's this good, why would you keep it a secret? So we are out there organically sharing. So it's just like the other night at the hotel, I was talking about this, right? How, people don't want to come across as a salesperson and they're not sure if the sharing side is for them. But really, it is for everybody. And it doesn't matter in what capacity that is. That could be every once in a while. It could be all the time. You might go in spurts and different sporadic things, but you can do this however you want. And it's just like my good friend Anthony. He owns this amazing restaurant in Brantford called Speakeasies. Some of you have probably heard of it if you're local. And it's this little hole in the wall, beautiful food. His mom and dad, they help him cook the food. It's a family-run business, and they're in there all the time. You go in and you literally feel like you're in your little grandparents' kitchen and they're feeding you all this great homemade food, and you see his mom and you look over and she's like hand making the gnocchi, and they're serving all these beautiful specialty Italian drinks to people, and they've got this beautiful pizza oven on the side and it smells so good. And when you go in, you're never rushed. You could sit and you could eat dinner for 2 hours, and they come over and they sit with you and they talk with you and they make you feel like you're part of their family. The environment environment's amazing. I mean, it's got cheesy decor, but it totally adds to the whole just aroma and everything of this place, and it makes me feel like I'm at home. And I tell everybody about this restaurant because it's the bomb, right? So that's how I use Young Living and sharing. I cannot imagine my life without these oils and products because they make me feel so good, and why wouldn't I share that with people? So then you want to take it to the next step and you want to personalize it. So some of you might be hosting classes and getting really discouraged because people aren't showing up. Well, maybe you want to look at how you're inviting people. If you are relying solely on things like Facebook or handing out invitations and that kind of stuff and thinking, well, I handed out 100 invites or I invited 500 friends to my online event and only one person's showing up or two people are showing up, and that's not the response that I was hoping for, then you have to look at how you're inviting. So what I have found to be super successful for me in the last year is when I personalize my invitations. So instead of sending out the same invite to every single person, I might do the Facebook thing because number one, that's the best way to kind of get it out there at the beginning. And I definitely do hand out invitations. So when I run into somebody, I've got a paper invite I can hand to them, or I use the quad fold flyer and I even, write the date and the time and stuff on there. But I'm really personalizing how I invite people. So here's an example. If I've got a girlfriend who's got little kids and I can see, she's kind of struggling, or we've had conversations where, oh my gosh, the kids are so hyper, I'm so stressed out all the time, I've got 2 jobs and I'm trying to do all these things for my family and it's just wearing me out. That is somebody that's heartbreaking to me. I want to help them because I don't want them to suffer through. I know what it's like. I've got 4 kids. I remember when they were teeny tiny and I had 3 kids in diapers and 3 kids drinking bottles while the other one's running around and climbing the walls and, smearing his poop all over, and like, boys are boys. This stuff happens, and then you're trying to potty train 2 kids at once, and then you're trying to sleep train the baby, and you've got all these things going on. And in the meantime, I'm just trying to fit a shower in, or I'm just trying to get a wink of sleep or sleep through the night, for Pete's sake. So I totally understand. So when I see a young mom or a mom that's struggling, I want to help them. Not only do I want to be a friend and be supportive, but I know that there's oils and products that can definitely help her through that. I might even want to connect her with somebody that I know that's going through it right now or that can help. And if it helps them, that's great. So I'm not coming across and I'm saying, I just want to help her because she's suffering and I know I could sell her something. The business is like the second thought for me. I mean, it's always in the forefront of my mind. Don't get me wrong. It's my business and I love it and I want to share because I know it benefits people. But more than anything, I want to help her feel good and get through this difficult time so that she's not feeling like she's struggling and she feels like she's supported by a friend. So I treat everybody like a friend. That's my go-to. That's how I envision it, right? So I've got a friend. She's struggling. Okay, how can I help you? Number one, I'm here to listen. If you need to vent, if you want to hear some of the things that I'm doing that help me through it, I'll tell you. If you need a break from your kids, then let's get you a babysitter or set something up with your spouse so that they can take the kid and let's us go for a coffee and we'll just talk and have some girl time, right? Number one, I love that. The most important thing to me and the best gift you can ever give to me is your time. That is the greatest gift. And I think a lot of you are like that too. I would much rather have someone's time than have, flowers from them or something. And I like gifts, don't get me wrong. So if you ever want to, give me one, go for it. But more than anything, I would love to go to dinner with you, or I would love to have a coffee with you, or let's run some errands together. Like, I got to do groceries, let's go do them together. Whatever it is, you make it work. So, and in that time, when you start to connect and you start to really support a friend like that, then they start to trust you even more. And then they say, okay, so like, what are the things that worked for you? Okay, well, I made sure that my husband and I booked date night. This is just an example. You can use this really for any situation, but this is one I can relate to because I went through it. So, I made sure that I had adult time, whether it was with my girlfriends or with my spouse on a date night, because that gave me sanity. And the other thing was ask for help when you need it. So there were many times where some of my friends that had little ones were struggling, and I would go over to visit and I would say, okay, I got the kids for the next half an hour. You go and have a shower, or you go and have a nap. And I would force them to do it. And at the end of the nap or the end of the shower, they were just so grateful. So I was giving them the gift of my time and allowing them to do something that I know was, number one, necessary in order for them to be the best mom and best wife and friend that they can be. But I was also trying to seriously support them. So now the next thing I would say is, these products are amazing. So what oils can we use to support you in what you're going through? So the kids are wired and they're crazy. You know what I find really helps? Peace and calming in the diffuser. That's awesome. As a mom, when I get stressed out, you got lots of stresses. You're stressing about your kids and your spouse and the housework and the laundry and the bills, and you got to get the car and take the car in. Now the cat's sick, you got to take the cat to the vet. All these things that are going on, and you're stressing about that. So take a deep breath. Let's write a list of order of importance, and let's put on some stress away, right? So you're on the go and you run, and you don't have time to eat. Well, Young Living's got protein powder, NFR, yeah, but personal use. I mean, there's all these solutions of things you can do to help the person. So you're not just primarily focusing on what product can I sell them. You're focusing on how can I genuinely help this person, and it might not even have anything to do with oils or Young Living products. It might not, but you're helping them, and that's what this is all about. Business is second. Helping people is number one. We create products for a purpose, not a profit. So if you can zero in on what people's needs are and then figure out what is their problem and what is the solution to their problem, there is a product for everything. And more than anything, my time can also help and add to that. So that is the way, if you think of that and that is the way you practice your life and your business, you will come out ahead of everything. And not just that, not just making good money and doing really well in your business, but you will feel good. You will feel like you're contributing. You will have so many strong relationships in your life that will last a lifetime. Sean and I were talking this morning on our way home from the gym, and we were talking about how this business is seriously a life changer. So if it was not for Young Living, I literally would be someone stuck at home with my kids, knee deep in housework, and I would never leave the house unless it meant going to get groceries. So I actually lose that social part of my life that I adore. I love getting out and talking to people. And now my kids are in school full time, so it's a little bit easier, but I make a point to go to coffee with friends, and the blessing is that most of my friends, I would say 95% of my friends are actually Young Living users. So that's really cool. They love the product too. And if we have to use, getting together to talk business as an excuse for us to actually get together and spend some time together, I am so grateful for that. So I think you guys get where I'm coming from. So you want to create the sense of urgency instead of desperation. And how you do that is meeting people or reconnecting with people and figuring out how can you help them, or just putting the effort in to try to have a strong relationship with them or reestablish a relationship with them, right? Maybe it's somebody you went to college with or high school with and you kind of miss them and you really enjoyed their time and you want to spend some time with them. So I've really been focused on that in the last 6 months of making more time for my friends and my business builders and doing that. And within that, it feels so good and it's so much better. And you can see the legs and the pockets of business leaders within my organization that I've really started doing that with, and taking the time to really connect with them. They are booming. Like, they're going for silver, they're going for all these different amazing things, different levels, executive, star, senior star, and all these things. And it's so exciting to watch. That is one of the greatest things for me, is seeing you guys succeed and setting a goal and then reaching your goal. So I hope that you find this message really helpful. Another little tip I want to give you is, not just inviting the obvious people to your classes. But, you know, go out and meet some new people. So that whole Me Too thing, right? Where you're in a grocery store and you see somebody and they make eye contact with you, smile at them, maybe start a conversation. Think of something that is Me Too, that is common between the two of you. I see a girl, she's got kids, she looks at me, she smiles. I'm like, hey, good for you for bringing your kids to do groceries. I leave mine at home because it's so much work for me. And then we giggle about it. And then, you know, that conversation happens. And then we start saying, you know, have you ever tried this activity with your kids? It's really great. Or have you ever been to this place? It's really great. And then the next thing you know, we're exchanging contact information on Facebook and I'm connecting with her. So I'm making a new friend, which, I mean, you can never have enough friends, but making a new friend. And now, you know, maybe there's something I can do to help her with Young Living. Maybe she's looking for an additional income. Maybe she's looking for products to help with her baby's digestive issues or sleep issues or her stress issues or weight loss issues or whatever it is. It leads into that. But my initial thing is, hey, there's a new friend. I like making new friends. It's always great. So that's a little tip for you, is try to meet new people. When you're out and about, try to make eye contact. People are out there looking every single day, whether they realize it or not. They're looking for something. They're looking for purpose. They're looking for wellness and abundance. Everybody is. Maybe not at that exact moment that you meet them, but eventually at some point in your life, they are looking for that. And if you can find the people that are genuinely looking for that you connect with right away, you can take that and you can run and you can help more people than you'll ever imagine. And then they in turn will do that for their people, and those people will do it for those people. And before you know it, we have created such an amazing generational shift amongst the people that surround us and worldwide, that we're helping so many families. And at the end of the day, doesn't that feel good? So if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I also want to challenge you guys, do 2 classes before the end of the month. And you're like, what? It's already October 19th. Yes, I have thrown classes together in less than a week and had, you know, a handful of people come out, and that is just from hustling, getting out there. So I'm going to get groceries today. My goal is to connect with 5 people in that grocery store because there's hundreds of people there. I'm going to Costco. You know, I live there. I'm going to connect with 5 people on social media some way or another, or strike up a conversation and just step out of my comfort zone and get out there. And then I'm going to book a class for the end of the month, and I'm going to invite them to the class. But if you've got people that want to learn and you haven't yet done a class, aim to do 2. You can do 1 every week for the end of the month. Then get on social media and do a Facebook Live, or post something. Post a product. Like the other day I posted about, you guys can post a product that's changed your life that you got for free on Essential Rewards, or your favorite product from Young Living, or something new you've tried and you absolutely love. Post about it. Share about it. Because when your friends and your family think about wellness and essential oils and healthy products, you want them to think of you. Have a great day, everybody.